Thank you all for joining me for that session today. So I'll give a presentation and a demonstration on a demo on a very, very specific use case around keeping our code repositories consistent. And in previous presentation, we saw one team had 40 code repositories. Now it comes with challenges. Okay, so I'm going to present you these two tools, GitHub Crawler, CI Droid. Both are open sourced. I'm the author and maintainer of these two tools. It's pretty new, just a couple of versions have been released so far. And I'll show you how it helps me and my team really improve the way we work. So a few words about me. What was not said? Yes, open source enthusiast. I've held these various positions in different places, Paris, New York, and Bangalore for past 4 years. My contact info, if you need to reach out to me, don't hesitate. Societe Generale and open source. So that's the company I've been working for the past 12 plus years. Present worldwide, 7,000 people in India, Bangalore and Chennai. And we have a clear open source strategy, which is around 3 axes: use, contribute, and attract. So use. Well, there is the cost factor, obviously, for all the big corporates. PostgreSQL, Whitefly, CentOS, RabbitMQ. These are just a few things that we use. Contribute on GitHub.com, but also financially. We're a bank. We have a bit of money, so it's good also to be able to support the open source community. So we support the Software Heritage Foundation. Google it up. Their goal is to archive all the open source code forever in a reliable manner. And in coming weeks, we should also support financially the JUnit 5 team, who has been totally revamping the JUnit framework. And attract, we want to attract people who believe in open source because, well, most of them have a very good mindset, very good attitude, and they can bring value to the organization. All right, enough talk. Quick question. How many code repositories are you managing in your teams? Can we find the one person who manages the most repositories? Come on. You work regularly with code repositories. As a developer or as a DevOps engineer, your developers work on many repositories. How many? Give me a number. 10? Okay. 100? Interesting. You'll be really interested with this. 100 repositories. We're starting to talk business here. Yes. All right. Especially with the move to microservices recently, great idea. This is what my services look like. With the team, we manage it fairly easily. We're proud of it. It looks complex, but we're able to manage it pretty nicely. So this is not the full graph, but just to give you an idea, in the GitHub organization for the team, so this is our internal GitHub. I don't know if we see very well. Well, 373 repositories. Okay, some are backend code, some are front-end code, some are infra as code, some are documentation, some are just a POC like this. Okay, so not all of these gets deployed. Let's be clear, but we have a good amount of it that actually has code that is deployed regularly. Okay, so now let's imagine 100 repositories with code that is being deployed. Well, the kind of questions that you get asked regularly when you manage these kind of things is, what is the version of the base Docker image that you're using? What is the version of your Spring Boot application? And how many and where? What is the split? Give me a split. Okay? That's the kind of questions that you're asked as a CTO, for example. And, well, it's super boring to do. You can check on GitHub and go repository by repository, do some checks, And then the next week, somebody else asks you the very similar question. And then you decide with your team that, okay, let's upgrade the version of the library that we're using. And you want to track that, okay, we are migrating, we are upgrading regularly. I'm lazy. right? So I wanted to automate this. There was no way I'm going to check manually every time in the repositories. So that's when we came with GitHub crawler. So not a very original name. Well, it crawls GitHub, okay? So how does it work? We give a very basic config, organization name, where to scrape data, what to scrape, and the output type, okay? We feed this to GitHub crawler. So GitHub crawler is an application that we wrote, Spring Boot 2 application written in Kotlin. And leveraging on GitHub APIs, well, we have given the organization name. So we can get all the repositories from the organization. From there, we get all the files, all the indicators, and we have an output. So for each repository, we have all the indicators that we need that are being output here. So this is the view in Kibana. But so this is the repository name and the indicators, okay, the values. Every time I run my batch, my GitHub crawler, I get the up-to-date version values of all the indicators I'm interested in. I don't need to ask anyone of my team members. I don't need to look it up myself. I just run my batch. It takes 1 minute. I have all the value I need. Okay? So this is the typical configuration. So that's the, I have three slides like this. So the global config, well, obviously, well, the GitHub URL, the token, if you need one. What is the organization name? Do you want to crawl all branches or not? By default, it's going to crawl only the default branch. That's usually what you're interested in. Depending on how you manage the branches in your team, you may want to crawl all the branches. The output, so a couple of outputs are available. You can output the results as a file. Here there's an HTTP output. If tomorrow I don't need it, so I didn't implement it, but if you want a JDBC output to store in database, you can very, very easily implement it yourself. And if in case you are not interested in all the repositories, you can filter them out with a list of regular expressions, repositories to exclude. Okay? This is the global config. Now, that part, indicators to fetch by file. That's where we are going to say what file we're interested in and what values we're interested in picking in those files. So here what I'm saying is that for all the repositories that are part of my organization, in the pom.xml, okay, we are going to create an indicator that is called Spring Boot Starter Parent version. And for that, for the artifact ID, Spring Boot Starter Parent. So that doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. The method here is the way we are going to parse the file to find that value. So similarly, I can find if it has a quality profile using a regular expression. This is the regular expression that I use in my pom.xml to see if there is a quality profile. I can count the matching XML elements in a given file. All these parsers are pretty simple and very easy to add some by yourself. So we provide a couple, but it's very easy to add some more. Okay? So that's for the pom.xml, and then you have the Jenkins file and the Docker file. I mean, and anything you can put like this. Very flexible, very easy to set up. This part is going to be probably refactored a bit in coming weeks and months. I mean, it's all the additional stuff that you may want to do at a repository level. So here, for example, we can perform a search on a repo. Again, using GitHub API. For each repository, we're going to perform the search. If you don't know exactly where the information is, but you know it's there in your repository, but not in always in the same file, that can be useful. All right. So we made sure that it was very easy to deploy and extend. So deploy, I mean, all the versions, when we build a version, it's pushed to Maven Central. So all you have to do is get the fat jar, put your XML, your YAML configuration next to it, run, and that's it. Okay? And if you want to run it regularly, all you have to do is put a Jenkins job on top of it, downloads the jar, puts the configuration, execute it every day. That's what we do in my team. Easy to extend also. It's a Spring Boot 2 application, so with all the Spring Boot magic that exists for those who know about it, it's very easy to just instantiate a new class of your own, get it picked up at startup, and there you go. So any output, any parser, there's an interface to implement, very easy to extend. Okay? So I'll just give you a very short demo of what it looks like. So like I said, in the output that I took, it was an HTTP output. Okay, so every time I compute something, I'm going to post it to Elasticsearch. On top of Elasticsearch, I have Kibana that allows me to go into my data very easily. So here you see, I have 178 repositories that are tagged as backend repository. That's an additional feature that is there. So I have all my backend repositories here in the name here, and the indicators. So I have my the Docker image that is used, the Spring Cloud dependency version, whether it has a quality profile or not. I have all my raw data here. And in Kibana, it's very easy to filter. So if I want to know all the ones that are using this value, okay, I have 7 repositories that use that version of Spring Cloud. Okay. Every day that runs. Every day I get a fresh status if I need. Well, this is the raw data. If you prefer dashboard, well, with Kibana it's very easy. So here I get a donut view of what is my split of Docker images versions. Okay, so depending on the type of service that we have several images available. I get a clear split of the versions. So if tomorrow my DevOps guys create a new Docker image with additional features, security features, monitoring feature, whatever, I know exactly where I need to upgrade it. Okay? So that was the first tool, GitHub crawler. Now, second tool, CI Droid. So I was observing how it came. It's because I was observing the developers around me wasting a lot of time doing very low-value tasks, always the same. Okay, so we came up with that small architecture. So somebody mentioned before the webhooks. So GitHub has that webhook concept where whenever an event happens, you can send that event to a controller that will take the payload. So every time somebody commits, every time somebody creates a branch, does anything, the payload, the event goes into the CI Droid webhook. It is forwarded through RabbitMQ to a task consumer to be processed asynchronously. Okay? And the CI Droid task consumer is going to be able to do the job in all these tasks that are not very interesting. The CI Droid task consumer is going to do it on behalf of the developer. What tasks are we talking about? The first one is automatic rebase on a mergeable PR. So imagine you have several pull requests open on a repository. Every time somebody commits into master, the pull requests are going to be automatically rebased on top of master. That makes sure that all your pull requests stay up to date with master. And because a push happens, again, a new build gets triggered. So all your tests, if your pull request is green, it's green on top of master. So when you're going to merge, it's not going to break. Second one, in GitHub, GitHub is a very great tool. I mean, I love the tool, but there's one feature that is missing, is that when I create a pull request, and it's not merged immediately, and somebody else commits something into master, my pull request can become non-mergeable anymore. It has conflicts. Well, GitHub doesn't tell you this. You have to go on the pull request page to see it. Here, CI Droid sees it. Okay, that pull request has just become not mergeable. CI Droid is going to put a comment in the pull request so that the developer gets the notification. Last thing. Also, I noticed that a lot of new joiners. We give them the documentation, but then they forget quickly because they don't put it in practice. Here, it's very easy with this to analyze the pull request, implement your own checks on the pull request. So here we have some naming conventions in my team. For example, we don't like to name things DTO. So every time somebody creates a DTO.java file, CI Droid will see it immediately and put a comment. So within 2 seconds, the developer gets the notification that he did something that is not as per the rules. So this was working pretty nice. And then came this idea. So imagine, like we say, we have 80 repositories to manage. And well, there's a new build plugin version that has just come out. The way we deploy has slightly changed. The URL of your Docker repository has changed. What do you do? Or, okay, we made a mistake for more than a year. We have missed a property. We need to put that property across all 80 repositories. Am I going to do this manually 80 times? No, I don't want to do that. I have a lot of better things to do than spending days, copy-pasting in 80 repositories. So, starting on the foundation of CI/Droid, we came up with something, an additional feature. So here it's not using the GitHub Webhooks events, but it's a new, a new controller here, to which we are going to post a message, JSON message, where you describe the type of action you want to do, where you want to do it, and that's it. So it can be any file, any repository, any branch. If you have the same action to perform across multiple places like this, you just have to build that message once, post, and it's going to be managed by the tasks consumer. This is what I mean by the kind of message, a very simple message. So I give my credentials, the commit message, the update action, so the type of action that I want to do. Here it's a simple replace action. So this is the initial value. This is the new value. I want to create, I don't see from here. I want to create a pull request every time. And this is where I want to do it. These are all the files where I want to do that action. So depending on the repository, depending on the file, depending on the branch, here I have only 5 places where I want to do the change. You can put 100, you can put 200, you can put 1,000 if you want. You click, it's going to happen. Okay? So a big time saver whenever we have that kind of change that we need to replicate in many places. Well, that's we do this in a few minutes. So the available actions, so it's like a toolbox. Huh? So every time, for example, I have a new requirement and my current tools are not able to help me, I create a new tool. So I can do simple replace, I can do overwrite some content, I can remove an XML element, I can remove a Maven dependency or a plugin, I can add some XML content, one action is template based, I can remove a Maven profile, I can do anything. Okay, and if tomorrow I have a new use case, it's a simple class to add, and I'll be able to do it. Okay, so again, I'll give you a quick demo. So this is the kind of so for now there's I need to post my message with Postman, but this is the kind of message that I need to post. So here, what I'm going to do on one repository, but on 3 different branches, branch 1, branch 2, branch 3, I'm going to. But so just like in the slides, this is the message that I'm going to post on one repository. So my repository is, no, not here, it's here. I have 3 branches, branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. And you see if I go to branch 1, I don't have anything called dummyfile.txt, okay? Here what I'm going to do on the 3 branches, I'm going to just create a dummyfile.txt with the content hello world, okay? So let's see. I send. And hopefully we should, let's see, okay, things have happened. And I receive here, okay, I've received 3 emails telling me that, okay, this is branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. And here I can go and check. Okay, in branch 3, dummyfile.txt has been created with content hello world. Sorry, it's not very big, okay? Now, that was creating a file. Now imagine I want to replace content. Same message, different action. I want to do a simple replace action. I want to replace world by open source India 2018. Similarly, in the three branches. I send. And here, if I refresh, okay, see, it has been updated like this. Now it shows hello open source in India. In the history, I mean, it's all there, all historized. So I created the file and I've replaced. So because it's all in Git and GitHub, well, all the history is there. We add on behalf, I mean, that it was done by CI on my behalf, so that it's very clear what happened. Okay? So similarly, with all the actions like this, I can take actions at scale. I mean, even if tomorrow I have twice the number of repositories, it's okay. I can manage. What's next? So the next step for us is going to try to bring the two tools together, GitHub Crawler and CI. So we are going to implement a small UI that actually enables you to take the output from GitHub Crawler, paste it in the list of resources that I just showed. I'm going to copy from GitHub Crawler, paste in CI, so that it's very easy to identify the files that you need to modify and the actions that you want to take. Well, and the next step also, it's well, doing that kind of presentations, explaining what we're doing, showcasing a bit what we're doing. So, like I said, this is all open sourced on github.com/Societe Generale. These are the two repositories. Have a look. Give a star. It's always nice to see that people appreciate the work. Fork the repository. And well, yeah, contribute if you want. Give it a try, and if you want to add anything, I don't know. I mean, let's do it. Create issues, ask questions. No problem. Okay. Thank you, and well, see you soon on GitHub, hopefully.